according to international market analysis, research and consulting, the food delivery industry in Nigeria was valued at $936 million in the previous year. By 2032, the industry is expected to surpass $2 billion, according to Study Group. Now, this growth spurts like these demonstrate how local digital technology services are becoming more widely available on the continent. The tech scene in Africa is primarily interested in cashless payments, but shifts in online food purchasing patterns present development prospects. Joining me now to discuss further is CEO and co-founder of Chowdeck, who is Femi Aluko. Femi, good morning. It's great to have you here on the Global Business Report.
Good morning, Abby.
You're most welcome. Let's begin with the market size and reception for food delivery. Do you find that more people are getting more excited to just have their food at home as opposed to having that restaurant experience?
Yes. When we launched in 2021, we've seen like a massive uptick in consumers that want to order food online. We've seen that like people are beginning to like adapt online ordering a lot more than they had like 3 years ago. And we've seen uptake like in different states we've launched in. We are currently live in Lagos and 7 other states in Nigeria. And customers are really excited to order food online recently, yeah.
Right, I mean, we saw Chowdeck recently hit a milestone of 1 million registered users. That's a huge one. Congratulations to you guys.
Thank
Well,
you.
what is that? I mean, that tells us a lot already. You started with how many?
When we started in 2021, we had about 300 users. And then 2022, we moved to around 19,000 users. In 2023, we had 250,000 users. And right now, we are over 1 million users here.
Wow. So, I mean, how many deliveries do you do on a day in an average?
Right now, we do like over 30,000 deliveries daily.
30,000?
Yeah. This time last year, we're doing around 8,000 deliveries daily. So like it's been like a massive jump in the number of deliveries we do year on year, yeah.
All right, well, let's look at the service and the technology itself. In what ways would you say that this technology streamlines and optimizes the process for services like yours?
Yeah, so before Chowdeck, like food delivery in Nigeria used to be a very big hassle. Like customers would like wait for like 2 hours to get their meals delivered to them. Chowdeck came and reduced that time to around 34 minutes. And we've been able to do that with like massive technology, like optimizing our current data points that we have and just a lot of like other processes that we put in place to ensure that like customers get their meals in the fastest possible time, yeah.
Okay, talking about that, for a business like yours, I would say there are two top priorities, timeliness and customer satisfaction.
That's correct.
I'm sure you're going to tell me you satisfy those two, right? But in what ways does technology help you achieve that?
Yeah, so first of all, like we have like a massive restaurant selection. So the first hustle is just like showing the customers the right restaurants they want to order from, which can be very daunting when you have a lot of restaurants around the customers. Once we figure that out for the customer, like we talk about like how fast we can make our deliveries happen. And in most cases, like deliveries happen like super fast because of, again, like the processes, like the mapping systems we have in place, the technology we also employ to make this happen. And all of this just contributes to giving the customer like the right great experience, yeah. So
are you talking about the real-time tracking?
That's correct.
When I order my food, I just want to know how far it is from my house right
now. Exactly. And then even down to the restaurants we show you, because you can only deliver very quickly from restaurants around you. So we show you restaurants that are around your particular location, and that just makes delivery also very fast, yeah.
Well, what about those situations where my food arrives on time, right? But there's one piece missing. Something I ordered is not there. I just want to understand, I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this.
That's
correct. This the relationship between you and the restaurant? Where does the fault lie?
Mostly, it depends, to be honest. Like sometimes it's from us, sometimes it's from the restaurants, sometimes it's from the riders too, because sometimes riders just pick up the food in haste and like forget to pick up the entire item here. But we've also put measures in place to prevent this from happening or to reduce the probability of this happening, where like we have multiple checks like at different steps of the order process. So before the rider leaves the restaurant, he has to verify that like he's picking up the correct thing. And that just helps reduce the overall like bad experience that customers have when it comes to missing items and all, yeah.
Right, so of course you take the responsibility or the restaurant does? Whoever...
It depends on who's at fault. Yeah, if the restaurant intentionally forgot to add it, then the restaurant takes responsibility. If a rider forgot to pick it up, then we take responsibility.
Right. So you've done so well so far. I mean, with a million registered users, that's a big deal. And you're looking to explore expansion into other markets like South Africa and Kenya. Now, these are very highly sophisticated markets in terms of the technology used. In what ways are you looking to become competitive in these spaces?
Yeah, so we think about expansion more from a product, we think about growth more from a product standpoint, and we try to ensure that like we have the best possible product for our customers. In the short term, we're not looking to expand to these new markets because Nigeria is still a very huge market that is yet to be captured.
Well, you're not looking to go in there?
In the short term, yes.
In the short term, okay.
Yeah, we think that like the Nigerian market is still very big. Like we have we are currently live in 8 states out of 36 states in Nigeria. There's still a lot of attractive markets we have not yet covered. In Lagos, for example, we are not everywhere yet in Lagos. There are still some bits of Lagos that Chowdeck is not yet present in. So we think that like with just like local expansion locally, as well as like optimizing our product experience for like our current Nigerian customers, we think that like we are good for growth for the next few months here.
Okay, but in that case, in a year's time, you're probably looking to get into other markets.
Yeah, when it becomes a year, we'll discuss it after a year.
Okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I see you.
Yes.
All right, well, I mean, as we know, with every business, scalability is always very important.
That's
and then
correct.
you want to juxtapose that against customer experience and, high quality. How do you make sure you're able to hit those two targets?
Scalability and
the customer experience.
Yeah. To be fair, we experienced, and that's one of the reasons why we raised our most recent funding. Like, it was just to ensure that we were scaling the right way. Like, we grew too fast, and then we were growing too fast because we had a lot more demand than supply. Yeah. So we had to put a lot of processes in place. We needed to rethink how we thought about operations, because operations, when you're delivering 10 orders or 20 orders a day, is very different from when you're delivering 30,000 orders a day. And then that's all of those processes that we put in place. Also assembling the right team to just ensure that people are managing what they're supposed to manage properly. Also helped us ensure that we are scaling effectively. Yeah.
What about unforeseen circumstances like fuel costs, for instance, that just spike out of the blue?
Yeah. So the beauty about our team is that we're able to respond very quickly to these changes when they happen. In the last, when we started, for example, we had a fleet of 100% motorbikes. As at now, we have a fleet of 40% bicycles. We have a fleet of 10% scooters and 50% motorbikes. So we're trying to also balance that short-term and long-term macroeconomic conditions with our own system today. So we kind of figure out innovative solutions to solve this problem from time to time, which I just described the bicycle situation. Of course, when the fuel prices just increased, would also result in an increase in delivery fees for us too, because the riders that drive bike currently depend heavily on fuel. Yeah, but it's not going to be on the scale of if we were depending fully on bikes for deliveries. Yeah.
So you're studying the market and basically ensuring some adaptability.
That's correct.
Accordingly.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a call. It's a rather gentle call right now for the move to electric vehicles. We've seen it in other markets. Do you see Nigeria gravitating towards that?
Yes. We actually already exploring. We have about 4 or 5 electric bicycles currently being used right now in Nigeria. It's currently still very early in terms of on Chowdeck. It's currently still very early in terms of exploration, but we are seeing good usage from electric bikes so far in Lagos. Yeah.
And if you compare that to what you're using currently, would you say that that's a win for you? Is that somewhere you...
So theoretically, it should be a win for us because this has just been less than 3 months old. But when we think about this kind of systems to roll out for, we think about it on the long term. What does it cost to maintain these electric bikes? When there's an issue, the mechanic to fix it, how long does it take to do all of those things? In the long term, is it going to be as profitable, or is it going to help us build the right unit economics when it comes to using electric bikes to deliver? So it's still very early to tell. But from the signals we are seeing, it looks very positive. Yeah.
Oh, so that's an option for the future.
That's correct.
That's a good thing. But still looking at technology, do you see new technologies coming in to help your efficiency in the future?
Yes. For example, artificial intelligence has really helped us streamline a couple of our operations. We use AI for a couple of things right now internally. It's still very early use cases for us. We have not, although we'll be launching a couple of AI products over the next few months and exposing to our customers. But internally, we use AI for couple of our operations, how rider interacts with restaurants, how the restaurants even automatically, we know when the restaurants are out of stock, when things are not happening. We already use AI for some of these things internally, and we are seeing that it is greatly improving the experience and not allowing us skill in terms of people. Usually you skill our kind of business by hiring more people to manage a couple of things, but AI is just helping us cut down some of these things here.
All right, so looking at the operational landscape, Chowdeck is Y Combinator backed, along with other players as well. What does investor appetite look like for this sector currently?
Yeah, so that's, again, over the last few months, we've seen strong investor appetite on our end. We've seen, maybe because of the amazing growth we've experienced, we're growing from 300 users less than 3 years ago to over 1 million users. Of course, that would have a lot of investors talking to you and reaching out to you. We haven't seen a drop in investor appetite, if that makes sense. We are actively talking to them. They're excited about what we are building, although there's the macroeconomic conditions, but we are also growing at the pace that makes the macroeconomic conditions look like a joke. For example, if we were to grow 50%, if we were to grow 10% month on month, usually to maintain our USD growth, we are now growing 30-40% month on month, which is helping us, to be honest, because we are having the right number of orders, the right number of customers, and we're just growing exponentially faster. It's
also becoming quite a competitive and saturated space. You're not faced by that at all, are you?
No. So to be fair, I think that again, the way we think about competition, it's a space, if you look at other continents across the world. For example, the United States has 2 big food delivery players. There's DoorDash and there's Uber Eats. China has 2 strong food delivery players. There's Swiggy, there's Zomato. Every continent or every country across the world has 2 strong food delivery players. In Nigeria, we are still scratching the surface. So I think competition is welcome. We love, because competition puts you on your toes and it just helps you provide better service to your customer. Yeah.
And there's enough space for everyone to play, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I like that attitude.
There are 36 states in Nigeria. You're just in 8 states, so it's okay for competition to come on board. Welcome. Yeah.
That's really great to hear. well, let's wrap up with your outlook on the future of this industry.
Yeah.
What do you see in the next 5 years? It's still short term,
yeah.
depending on how you look at it.
Yes. Again, I think it's still very early days. I think in the next 5 years, what we're going to be seeing is like Chowdeck becoming that one-stop super app. Right now, we deliver food from restaurants. We also deliver groceries from supermarkets. We also deliver medicines from pharmacies. We think that like we'll be that central app that anything you want delivered to you will be available to you on Chowdeck. Yeah,
so one-stop shop for everything.
Yeah, the one-stop shop.
That's quite ambitious. Not that you're not allowed to do that, but you feel like you've navigated the space enough.
Yes. So we started building from the logistics infrastructure layer. So we ensured that our logistics layer was very, very solid before we started building products on top. So right now it's just a case of like adding products to our base logistics model. So we added restaurants first, we added supermarkets next. We also even added local markets like Sabo markets, Itedo markets. We added those markets on top of that base infrastructure layer, which is helping us like launch new products very quickly. Yeah.
That's interesting what you just mentioned. What's the response to that been with the local market?
I think it's been exceptional. I think it's one of our fastest growing products ever. Like right now we do around I think 600 like local markets deliveries like every day, which is a lot compared to like how we started other markets. Like when we launched supermarkets, when we launched restaurants, it picked up slowly, but local market picked up very fast. And maybe it's also in response to like user behavior, where people can't order like restaurant foods anymore as much as they used to, and they just prefer to cook at home. So like we have people like cooking at home and then ordering from local markets to cook at home like on demand. Yeah.
Wow, fascinating stuff. Femi Aluko, thank you so much for joining us on the Global Business Report. I've been chatting with Femi Aluko, who is CEO and co-founder of Chowdeck, and we'll see you again very soon.